any other minerals and things of that nature. So this gentleman was by the name of John McDonald. He wanted to do something for the first responders. So he chartered Southwest Airlines to provide at least three, I don't know, 747s to carry approximately 1,000 firefighters, a couple of hundred police officers, and also military to go to California on his dime to give them a little bit of a break. A lot of people don't realize that when you're involved digging in the ground zero pit, as it were, and they're day in, day out, you kind of forget about life. And he knew that you needed a mental health break, so to speak. So he provided the funds for everybody to have hotels and go to Fresno, California, and be treated honestly like royalty. He invited us to his home, and I never thought 1,000 people could fit in someone's home, and we did. So it was a big home. I think he named it Eagle Crest, so it was huge, huge property. He had a gigantic tent with food waiting for us. But what was most impressive was the welcome at the Fresno airport. I was struck because as the plane landed, I saw the same scenery that I see behind me. I saw two fire trucks with a flag draped in the center. I saw their highway patrol with their motorcycles lined up, police cars with their officers standing by, saluting us as we landed, and even a couple of engines were shooting water in the air to kind of cross, create like a rainbow effect because it was very sunny that day. And we had the local high school marching bands as well playing for us as we landed, one plane after another. And I never thought they would let me on a plane with a gun, but they did. And they let all the police officers in full uniform on that plane, and they were also serving alcohol. Strange, but I was supposed to supervise them, so I made sure they stayed in line. I can't speak for the firefighters though, but I thank the generosity of someone like that that had the foresight to know that we needed a weekend away from ground zero. And as many as would accept, he was willing to pay for it, and he did. And, we thank people like that and their generosity. So, we're just about to reach another critical point at 10:03. Earlier, they had spoken about United 93 as it crashed in Shanksville, Somerset County, Pennsylvania. So, I had mentioned earlier that United 93 had been hijacked with the sole purpose of striking our democratic way of life. They were destined somewhere in Washington, D.C. They were 20 minutes away from Washington, D.C., and they had already struck the Pentagon, which was our military, you know, might, our financial district, our two towers, and now they were headed for either Congress, our Capitol building, or perhaps the White House, our executive branch, represented by the White House. Fortunately, our commander in chief at the time was in Florida, here in Florida with us, reading to some children in a public school. And I think everybody is very aware of Andy Card, whispering in George Bush's ears about the incident that had occurred. So that's a very, very vivid memory, seeing that on TV. So one thing I want to just say about United 93, because Captain O'Donnell had already mentioned a lot of details about it, but a lot of people don't realize that obviously there were those days cell phones weren't like what they are today. So there were no cell phones. There were probably flip phones, Motorola phones, if I remember, those little small ones. But they weren't going to work on a plane. But they had telephones in the headrest. So a lot of people were able to swipe a credit card and make a call. And Todd Beamer had done that to his wife. He had said a prayer before he actually, along with other brave souls on that plane, decided to intervene. And we're very, very grateful to them for what they did. The people of Somerset County, specifically in Shanksville, I want to share a story with them. So I remember them welcoming us when we went to visit there, and they said, "You're part of our family now, and always will be." And that has been exactly how we have felt year after year, and this year is no different. They welcome. It's not a very big town, but it's very picturesque, and there is a memorial there. If you ever have the ability or the opportunity to visit, I highly recommend it. So let's not forget our Shanksville, you know, losses there. I did want to share with you um, the cost of this 20 years. And so, a little hard to see with the sun, but I wanted to tell you that we have lost so many since that moment, since September 11th, 2001. American servicemen, we lost a total of 2,448. And of course, we had 13 from Kabul that just happened recently to that number. U.S. contractors that were contracted to provide protection and security and other